All the honorable members of the Parliament are cordially invited to pay the tribute.
Sing from whom while I bed up in bed, Chaolung Sukapha Rani Pan Bormao Pen kaka son seo pham đôi mà lung nam na khe bằng một si khi ra su bỏ môn sen di nang looking cool, boy, mom, I sang sing mo sing fa mo lao ki puja ji ti ja sing kham kon tung man moru mo sing kham kon tung man।
कार्यक्रम का शुभारंभ करते हुए हम अपने सभी सम्मानीय अतिथियों, विद्वानों एवं पत्रकारों का हार्दिक स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करते हैं। We now move forward to the felicitation ceremony of our distinguished guest. Their presence enriches the celebration and inspires us to uphold the values that Swargodev Chaolung Sukapha envisioned centuries ago. Among us, today we have Shri Dilip Saikia ji, Honorable Member of Parliament and the President of Assam State BJP, to felicitate him with a gamusa and a farao. I may request P. Dinesh ji, Additional PS to Honorable Minister Shri Sarbananda Sonowal ji. Now I invite Srimati Archita Devi ji to felicitate the Honorable Member of Parliament Lok Sabha, Shri Parimal Shuklavadya ji.
প্ৰকৃতিৰ পৰা আয়ত্ত কৰি যিজন উপৰি পুৰুষে অনাদি কালতে গীত মাত বাদ্য সুৰ যাও নুৰু যাও কাও
I request P. Dinesh ji to felicitate Shri Pavitra Margharita ji, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of External Affairs and Textile.
নুৰু যাও কাও
I request Archita Devi ji to felicitate Srimati Bijuli Kalita Medhi ji, Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha.
যাও নুৰু
I request
যাও কাও
Archita Devi ji to felicitate Shri Phanibhushan Chaudhary ji, Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha. I request Archita Devi ji to felicitate Shri Jayanta Basumatari ji, Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha.
হিম হইয়া হিম হইয়া খুন থাও লাইলো লাই
I request Archita Devi ji to felicitate Shri Kripanath Malla ji, Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha.
হিম হইয়া হিম হইয়া
I request her to felicitate Shri Amar Singh Tisso ji, Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha.
খুন থাও লাইলো সমান সমান লুঙ্গো হইয়া
I request Archita Devi ji to felicitate Shri Bhuvaneshwar Kalita ji, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha. I request Shri Archita Devi ji to felicitate Shri Rameshwar Teli ji, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha. I request her to felicitate Shri Birendra Prasad Varsha ji, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha. I request her to felicitate Rongna Narjari ji, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha. I request her to felicitate Shri Kamakhya Prasad Tasa ji, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, to felicitate him with the Fulam Gamusa. Now, I request Shri Kuldeep Gayan ji to felicitate Professor Rajiv Hendik ji.
Hitting chow chow mobile clone. Hitting chow chow mobile clone. Mohu lukman puhai popis.
I request Shri Kuldeep Gayan ji to felicitate Professor Jiten Hazarika ji, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dibrugarh University. I request Shri Kuldeep Gayan ji to felicitate Dr. Omji Upadhyay ji, Member Secretary, Indian Council of Historical Research, New Delhi. I request Shri Kuldeep Gayan ji to felicitate Shri Jishnu Barua ji, Chairperson, Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, CERC. Now, I request Shri P. Dinesh ji to felicitate Honorable Minister of Port, Shipping and Waterways, Shri Sarbananda Sonowal ji. Now, we present the Taya Home anthem, a symbol of pride and cultural legacy. For the performance, I invite Rishita Gogoi, Darshan Raidongia, Supreme Borua, Dennis, Pragya Gogoi, Angshuman, Jilmil, Junali, Anvesha, Sneha, and Bonam Gogoi. Upon this stage, let us all immerse in this moment of heritage and harmony.
Kruptang Boykom Namaskar Hokoluke. আজি সভাত উপবিষ্ট সকলোক লৈকে মই সাদৰ সম্ভাষণ জনাইছো। আমি টাই আহোম ষ্টুডেণ্টছ অৰ্গেনাইজেশ্যন দিল্লী অৰ্থাৎ টাই আহোম ছাত্ৰ সংগঠন দিল্লী সকলো লৈকে অসম দিৱসৰ আন্তৰিক শুভকামনা জনাইছো। আমি আপোনালোকলৈ আগবঢ়াব বিচাৰিছো টাই আহোম জাতীয় সংগীতটি। ইয়াৰ আগতে ইয়াৰ থুলমূলকৈ এটি অনুবাদ আপোনালোকলৈ আগবঢ়াইছো।
Good evening, everyone. So, Thai Ahom anthem is a piece praising peace, creation, and a radiant divine power linked symbolically to the flag as a sign of peace. It celebrates united collective strength, leadership of the people, and calls for peace, friendship, and fraternity among nations. It goes like this. Ami hantikami, ami shrishtikami, শান্তিৰ প্ৰতীক আমাৰ পতাকা জ্যোতিময় হে দেৱ মাতি সোহা আহা জ্যোতিময় হে দেৱ সুমসেং তুমি দেৱ মহিমাময় তুমি দেৱ মহান মহান জ্যোতিময় হে দেৱ মাতি সোহা আহা ব্ৰজ সমদ্ৰেহ শক্তিৰ সমদল জাতি জনগণ অধিনায়ক শান্তি মৈত্ৰী আৰু বন্ধুত্ব দেখে দেখে ফ্ৰাগুণ গাই কৰো আহ্বান জ্যোতিময় হে দেৱ মাতি সোহা আহা জয় হে জয় হে জয় হে
you so much.
Thanks to the team for the beautiful anthem. Among us, today we have many eminent academicians, scholars from the different parts of the nation and respected journalists. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to everyone for joining us. Now we proceed to hear our dignitaries. I now invite Professor Rajiv Hendik ji to deliver his address. एक छोटा सा परिचय राजीव हेंडिक जी के बारे में. Rajiv Hendik ji is a professor and former head Department of History and former Dean Faculty of Arts, Guwahati University. And he has served higher education in Assam both as an academician and an administrator. Professor Hendik is presently the Academic Registrar, Guwahati University. He is a recipient of the S.K. Bhuya Memorial Prize in 1991. He did his PhD on forest history of Assam, and his book, British Forest Policy in Assam, is a pioneering work on that area. He was a Rotary Peace Scholar at Chulalongkorn University, Bangkok in 2006, and a recipient of the Charles Wallace Research Grant administered by the British Council in 2011. The areas of Professor Hendik include environmental history, oral history, colonial history, higher education, and peace and conflict studies. He has a number of publications to his credit. May I now invite Professor Hendik ji to deliver his address.
Krutang Namaskar. Honorable Sri Sarbananda Sonowal Dangoria, Union Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Government of India, Honorable MPs who are present here today, as well as we have Minister Sri Pubitra Margarita Dangoria, Professor Jiten Hazarika, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Dibrugarh University, Dr. Omji Upadhyay, Member Secretary ICHR New Delhi, esteemed academicians who are guests, dear student friends, ladies and gentlemen. At the very outset, I offer my homage to Chaolung Sukapha, who laid the foundation of Assam as a nation and who arrived. It was Sukapha whose leadership and principles of governance helped of a kingdom that lasted 600 years and also could withstand the might of the Mughal Empire. I take this opportunity to thank Sri Sarbananda Sonowal Dangoria and his ministry and all who took this opportunity who have organized this program in Delhi. I will speak at New Delhi will form a very small part of my speech, and then I will dwell on Swargodev Sukapha, followed by summation about what happened thereafter, because as we all know, we are all today facing a lot of problems. So history is not only about the past, it is also to be connected to the present. And so I would like to link up the two. Celebration of Asom Diwas in New Delhi is actually very important, and because it not only brings together the fraternity that is here from Assam, but also many who have got their sympathies for Assam and who wants to know about Assam in a greater way. Just the day before yesterday, I was just talking to Omji Upadhyay, who is also the member secretary of Indian Council of Historical Research, and Povitra Margarita Dangoria was there, where there was a conference on Sohit Pioli Phukon. I was just raising the question as to who is the first martyr of the freedom movement who was hanged following the proper judicial procedure. We all know about Nanda Kumar, who was hanged because of forgery and cases like that. But it is Sohit Pioli Phukon who was actually hanged in July 1830 after the British declared him to be a rebel and he was sentenced to death. So these are small bits of information, of history, which are important. And I think centenary celebration of Lachit Borphukan. The reason why Lachit Borphukan is known a bit more over the country is because of the celebration and the coverage that it got. Maybe 2 years after this, and I know you all will be there, we will be having a grand celebration of Asom Diwas here. So, Lachit Borphukan could become Lachit Borphukan actually because of Sukapha. We cannot think about a nation, a kingdom that defeated the Mughals without the foundation, the person who laid the foundation, Sukapha. So, I will not, I think all of you are aware, and today it's a day of Google and internet. You can all get the information from internet about who Sukapha is, what he did. But for young friends, it's also necessary to understand that he was a very, very hard worker, a person who sacrificed a lot, a person who at the age of 26 left his home place in search of a kingdom. He was a crown prince of that place, a crown prince who, because of the late arrival of a son of the because he was living with his maternal grandparents who did not have any scion. So after a son was born and who was actually enthroned or who was supposed to become the new king, he had to leave. And for 13 years, he came through the Patkais, traveling through the area which also is a part of the old Silk Route. And he came, crossed the Patkai and reached Assam in the month of December, it is said, in 1228. So after that, and that time he was perhaps aged, his age will be around 49 when he reached. After that, he interacted with the inhabitants. And we have to understand that after the downfall of the Kamrupa Empire, Kamrupa Kingdom, the entire Brahmaputra Valley was in a situation of flux. There was no important big kingdom there. And already the invaders were coming from the west. There was already the Muhammad of Ghazni, Muhammad of Ghori invasions which were taking from the other side. And from this side came a prince who, in search of a kingdom, interacted with the people, the inhabitants, and after a long period of 25 years, having capitals at different points like Abhaipur, Tipam, Habung, finally chose Soraido in 1253 as the capital of the Ahom kingdom. What he did was amazing because of the fact that normally the conqueror they impose whatever they have, their culture, on the vanquished. But it was not a situation like that. He came, he assimilated with the local population who were there, and we have to understand one thing, that he came with superior technology of agriculture, wet rice cultivation. আমি যেটা হালি খেতি বুলি কওঁ. He introduced that wet rice cultivation. They had a lot of knowledge about hydrology, gravitational hydrology. All these were actually, in a way, it helped the people who were living there to become prosperous in days to come. And he started to invite all these groups of people, the communities who were there, who were mostly tribes, but were endogamous, inward looking. He invited them to Soraido, and they all, there were many ceremonies where they did it together. So it was a celebration of diversity, in a way. He not only respected the diversity, he accepted the diversity, he respected the diversity, and he started celebrating that diversity. And in this celebration of diversity, actually, the foundation of Assam was laid. He also started a process of Ahomization, as it is said by the noted historian Amalendu Guha, who is an economic historian, and who said that through Hali Kheti, and also by, in a way, incorporating the population into the Ahom polity, there was a process of Ahomization that was laid, and that also formed a part of what Assam later on came to be. There was no imposition at all. There was no imposition at all. There was a system of meritocracy which came in, because we all know today the Changmais, the Borahis were the tribe who were selected to be, they were given the Ahom kitchen, royal kitchen was in fact handed over to the Borahis. And because the reason being that they were good cooks, their cuisine was much better than what they brought about, and that's the reason. So what I mean to say is that the Ahom state was based on meritocracy, it was based on celebrating diversity, it was based on assimilation. And in course of time, the Ahoms, who had their own religion, who had their own culture, who had their own language, slowly assimilated with the people, and Assam came to be known as Assam, language came to be known as Assamese, the Thai language, the language with which we heard the anthem being sung, actually, in course of time, actually, it went into obscurity. It is only today's revivalism that some of it is being restored. So it went on, and this Ahomization process later on, it gained momentum. The Ahom state actually was carried on based on these principles. Based on these principles of equality, fraternity, tribal fraternity, in fact. And that is how the society was built. And later on, when Suhungmung expanded his kingdom, he also adopted the same principles of conciliation. And it was actually under Pratap Singha, the Buddhi Sarga Narayan, as he said, who actually gave a further fillip or organized what, the Ahomization got a sort of new lease of life under him when he restructured the polity, he restructured the pike system, the economy, everything. Today, I have a friend, Rajkwa, who is a Brahmin. My roommate, Soikia, is a Kosari. My tutor, in fact, my maths teacher was a Kosari, and he wrote Saikia. We have Bora, Borwa. You will not be able to say who actually, or which community, ethnic community they belong to. This process of assimilation through a common type of administration and following the assimilating with the economy, the Ahomization process that was carried on, it created a society that was galvanized to ward off any foreign threats. And this happened again during the time of Pratap Singha, when the Mughal invaders came. The Mughals, several times they attacked Assam. I think everyone knows about that. And it was in that juncture between Pratap Singha and Lachit Borphukan, there was a period when all the kings of the Kamrup area, they went with gifts to the Ahom king in Gorgaon and recognized him as the Raja of Assam. In Persian sources, in Thai Ahom sources, you get the name Raja of Assam, Ahomor Raja. This was not a self-styled type of appellation. It was given by the people who wanted defense or who wanted to defend themselves from the Mughals, from the invaders who came from the west. This is how actually, how the Ahom kings came to be known as, came to be considered, came to be recognized as the king of Assam. The Persian sources will also say that Raja of Assam. It's how it was built up. Anyway, I am not going into the details of it. I feel the crux of statesmanship of Chaolung Sukapha was actually Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. If you look at it, it was this Sabka Saath, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Vikas, that, it became a success. Again, in the modern parlance, if you look at what Henry Ford said, coming together is the beginning. Staying together is progress. Working together is success. This is what actually Sukapha's policy did. It brought people together, they worked together, and they successfully built up a society which was strong enough to defeat repeatedly the Mughal forces. Of course, later on, we all know things happen. One thing that the Ahoms used to do was celebration of diversity. But in the royalty, this celebration of diversity principle was to some extent compromised when Saktism was sought to be imposed on the Mohamuriya Gosai at one point of time. So I think that very violation of a core principle brought about the civil war crisis that led to the rebellion and followed by the Burmese invasion. Finally, and we know that what happened after that, we had the Treaty of Yandabu. Now I will very briefly, I know you are all busy person, I will very briefly just try to highlight what happened after the British came. People of Assam, in spite of their discomfiture during the last few decades, they were there. It was a subsistence economy. They never actually depended on anybody for any food except some amount of salt from Bengal. Was a very fairly prosperous territory. But after the British came, they found that it is full of, so to say, forest and with very sparse population. And for them, this forest, these wastelands, they are a bar to the prosperity of the empire. So what they did three things. Number one, they invited peasants from the more populous districts of Bimensing, Tipera and Silhet to come and settle down in areas which were not under cultivation, to start cultivation so that they can start collecting revenue. So revenue maximization and commercialization became the bedrock of their policies. And secondly, they started the tea plantations. Huge areas of land was given away to the tea planters. And large number of people were brought in under very, very extreme exploitative circumstances to Assam to work in those gardens. Thirdly, there was the forest department, which take away the remaining land in the form of reserve forest, protected forest, village forest, whatnot. So what happened is that, as a few scholars have said, there was a sort of entrapment. The people who were in Assam, they got entrapped between these policies. The land was lost. Today, if you look at many of these people who are talking about the civil status, they are talking about land rights, which have become so fundamental. And it started a sort of migration of people. I will just end by showing you, I think it will be visible from here. I just could not, I thought I will take this opportunity to show you maps. This is a map, this is a part of the census. It is a census map of 1931 census, this is 1921 census. These type of maps are not to be found in any other censuses. It shows every arrow mark is actually, it denotes a number, the people coming in into this area. So in a way, there is a problem of demography today. It's a problem of demography. It's a problem of land rights. It's a problem of the living space, which is also the cultural space. Because if you lose land, you lose your culture. It is also, therefore, a big question of identity. Solving these problems, understanding this reality, colonial reality, is the need of the hour. And the people, every one of us must sit down, think over it, and find the colonial roots from where it emerged. Because prior to that, it was Sukapha's Assam. It was Assam which did not know these boundaries between communities. And I must add one thing, that it is the colonial cartography, map making, and the colonial census that is the root of the problem today. When they asked the people of Assam what religion they belong to, what caste they belong to, they were really confused. And it is the enumerators who wrote in the census that they don't know their status and they wrote whatever they liked. The same thing happened, Mulan in 1931 census, he wrote that if this type of migration continues, Assamese people will become a minority one day. That is the problem that Assam is facing, and every person in India must understand this problem and try to find a solution to the problems, to the sort of assertions which the sons of the soil, the tribal people, the indigenous people of Assam are making today. With these few words, I once again pay my homage to the creator of the Assam nation, Swargadev Chaolung Sukapha, and I thank you for your patient hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Handikji, for shedding light on the historical, cultural, and social significance of Asom Diwas. Shri Shantanu Thakurji, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, has just arrived, gracing the occasion. I request P. Dineshji to felicitate him. Among us, we have Shri Ranjit Dattaji, Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha. I request P. Dineshji to felicitate him with a Fulam Gamusa. Next, we have with us Dr. Omji Upadhyay, Member Secretary of Indian Council of Historical Research, who will share his thoughts today. I now request him to come upon this stage to deliver his address.
माँ सरस्वती को नमन। बोर आसाम के आर्किटेक्ट चौलंग स्वर्गदेव सुकाफा ये मानते हुए कि उनका पंचभूत वो सूक्ष्म रूप में हमारे इस देश में, हमारी इस माटी में विराजमान है, उनको मेरा प्रणाम। ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर ऑफ पोर्ट्स, शिपिंग एंड वाटरवेज and former Chief Minister of Assam, Honorable Sarbananda Sonowal ji, Honorable Minister of State, Honorable Member of Parliaments. I tried to write the names. मेरे बगल में बैठे हांडिक जी ने कहा ये कोशिश मत कीजिए, 6-7 के बाद मैंने भी लिखना बंद कर दिया था। dear students from. लेकिन जो शौर्य की 17 कहानियां हैं अहोम की, जो जिस शौर्य के साथ उन्होंने मुगलों को उधर एंटर नहीं होने दिया, वो जो कहानियां हैं वो गायब कर दी जाती हैं। एकेडमिया में जैसा मैं चर्चा कर रहा था कि बहुत सीमित तौर पे एक विवाद ये खड़ा किया गया है, वेदर ही वॉज ए यूनिफायर और ए कांक्वरर। लेकिन जितने भी तथ्य, स्रोत, घटनाएं, तर्क, उनका अगर ठीक से हम विश्लेषण करें तो एकदम स्पष्ट होता है कि सुकाफा, जो महान सुकाफा थे, उन्होंने कभी भी ताई भाषा और संस्कृति को इंपोज करने की कोशिश नहीं की, बल्कि जैसा मैं कह रहा था कि उन्होंने स्थानीय विश्वासों को, परंपराओं को अपनाया, विवाह संबंध बनाए और जो भी स्थानीय जन थे, बेट, मुरान, बोरही, कछारी, नागा, इन सभी को बराबरी का दर्जा दिया। और इसीलिए चाओलंग का संभवतः अर्थ ही होता है द ग्रेट यूनिफायर, महान एकीकरण करता। इस क्षेत्र में जो दूसरे, इट मेड द अदर ट्राइब्स ऑफ द रीजन टू कॉल दीज पीपल हाचम। हाचम मीन्स इनकंपेरेबल, अनपैरेलल, जिसे हम कहते हैं अद्वितीय, कोई दूसरा ऐसा नहीं, which later came to be pronounced as असम। असम, इसका भी मतलब वही होता है, जिसके बराबर, जिसके समान, असम, जिसके बराबर कोई दूसरा ना हो। कुछ लोग कहते हैं वहां की भूमि समान नहीं है, इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि वहां के लोगों के समान कहीं दूसरे लोग नहीं है, शायद इसलिए ये नाम पड़ा होगा। असम नाम के मायने यही हैं कि जो लोग अनपैरेलल हैं, इनकंपेरेबल हैं, अद्वितीय हैं, ऐसे असम की उन्होंने, ग्रेटर असम की स्थापना की। Definitely, he was the architect of Bor Assam, Greater Assam. He consolidated power, culture, and reason in the region, and managed to group a diverse mix of people in such a politically sensitive region, which was crisscrossing South Asia and Southeast Asia. He established integration is stronger than conquest. Established that dialogue is lasts longer than dominance, and cooperation rather than coercion, cultural blending over cultural imposition. ये करने वाले आज का ही दिन 2 दिसंबर 1228, जब आसाम के उस क्षेत्र में पहुंचकर उन्होंने अपनी यात्रा को एक 13 वर्ष बाद, आफ्टर 13 ईयर्स, विराम दिया था। जैसे 14 साल तक यूनिफाई किया भगवान राम ने भटकते हुए, वैसे ही बहुत सारे जनों को यूनिफाई किया। उनको पुनः एक हमारी श्रद्धांजलि, उनको होमेज। जय असम, जय भारत। यहाँ बहुत सारे युवा हैं। मैं एक पंक्ति के साथ अपनी बात पूरी करता हूं कि देश हवा, मिट्टी और पानी से बना है। देश हवा, मिट्टी और पानी से बना है। देश पुरखों की कहानी से बना है। खून से हस्ताक्षर कर दे गगन पर, देश उस पागल जवानी से बना है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सबको, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय असम।
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights with us. Moving forward, may I now request Professor Jiten Hazarika ji, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Dibrugarh University, Assam, to kindly share his thoughts with us.
Namaskar. Honorable Union Minister of Shipping, Port and Waterways, Srijut Sarbananda Sonowal Dangoria, State BJP President, Srijut Dilip Saikya, and other respected members of the Parliament, both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, our Honorable Minister Pavitra Margarita Dangoria, respected dignitaries present in my front, esteemed members of Assamese community present here, and the respected members of the Northeast and distinguished guests from other parts of India and media persons. At the very outset, I, on behalf of Dibrugarh University family, welcome you all to this particular program. It is a matter of immense pride and deep honor to be with you today as we celebrate Asom Diwas in the heart of the nation's capital. I extend my sincere thanks to the Ministry of Shipping, Ports and Waterways for organizing this event, which seeks to create wider national awareness about the life, vision and contribution of Chaolung Sukapha, the founder of the Asom dynasty and one of the most remarkable civilization figure in the Indian history. Actually, Para is leader of the 12 only, but now that thing is different. Anyway, when we talk about Assam, its identity, its history, its unity, the first name that comes to our mind is Chaolung Sukapha, the founder of the Asom dynasty that lasted for, as our Professor Handigoy has mentioned, 600 long years, which later on became the present-day Assam, earlier Bor Assam, at present we cannot say as Bor. His vision did not just create a kingdom, it shaped the very soul of Assam. Sukapha is the symbol of peaceful coexistence, statesmanship and cultural integration. Chaolung Sukapha did not attempt to impose himself upon the indigenous population. Instead, he built bridges with the Morans, Borahis, Kosaris, and inhabited the valley. The mutual trust and cooperation he nurtured with these communities became the foundation upon which one of South Asia's longest surviving dynasties, the Asom dynasty, was built. Through dialogue rather than dominance, through cultural exchange rather than conflict, he laid the foundation of the inclusive kingdom that flourished for nearly 600 years. This was not merely a political achievement. It itself was a civilization. His principles of governance were rooted in all groups and respect for diversity. Sukapha's political wisdom was much ahead of it. Rather than enforce cultural uniformity, he encouraged synthesis. Asom tradition blended with indigenous practices, giving rise to distinctive cultural fabric that continues to define Assamese identity. Local traditions created a society where multiple cultures could coexist, which drew upon local knowledge system and institutional shared responsibility, improve irrigation and trade, ports and waterways, reinforcing the idea that regional histories enrich the collective memory of the nation. I would like to express my sympathy for its initiative in strengthening riverine connectivity and inland waterways. These efforts are vital for unlocking the region's economic, political, in a symbolic way, creating pathways of interaction, development and integration. As the Vice Chancellor of Dibrugarh University, situated very near the historical heartland of Asom civilization, I take this opportunity to reaffirm our institution's commitment to study, preserve, and disseminate an indigenous knowledge system. We see it as our responsibility to ensure that the value, peace, inclusiveness, and cultural synthesis continue to inspire our younger generations. Let us carry his. Finally, what I have learned from Sukapha's vision, I want to share in 3 lines. Unity is not created by erasing differences, but by weaving them together. Number 2, harmony is not absence of disagreement, but the presence of mutual inviting me to participation of this celebration. শেষত মই সুদীৰ্ঘ 600 বছৰীয়া গৌৰৱোজ্জ্বল আহোম ৰাজবংশৰ দৃষ্টাভাৰ আগমনৰ দিনটোক আজি অসম দিৱস হিচাপে পালন কৰিছোঁ। ইয়াকে কৈ মই মোৰ চমু ভাষণ